So hey, it is like week 4 or 5 of a shelter in place, and I hope you all are making the most of a unpleasant situation. So this is the end of my 4th week since I've been grocery shopping. I did like a giant trip for 4 weeks, and this is towards the end of it, so I'm just kind of using up some stuff in the fridge. And I got a lot of cheese. I've also got some eggs and some panko breadcrumbs and some leftover dredging flour from the last time I made the thing that I'm about to make, which, well, you know what it is anyway, you saw the title, cheese sticks! I have some hot sauce, I've got a lime that's getting old, I have a little bit of a red onion and ends of some cilantro, cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese, leftover pizza sauce. I pretty much always have leftover homemade pizza sauce at any moment in my freezer because I make a lot of pizza. And we got some Fritos. So, my husband had the brilliant idea. I've made deep-fried mozzarella sticks before. I'm fairly confident in my ability to make those because I've made them a few times, but he had the brainstorm for deep-fried cheddar cheese sticks breaded in Fritos. And I thought I'd make a nice little like cilantro lime chutney to go with that. So I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we're going to find out together. So the secret to good cheese sticks is to give it a nice, very, very thick coat of breading so that the cheese won't melt out while you're frying them. And then the second secret is to fry them at high heat for as little time as possible, again, so they don't like ooze cheese while they're frying. So to make the breading stick, I've got a couple eggs. And as I said in the intro, this is dredging flour. It's heavily seasoned. There's a little salt. I actually don't recommend using much salt when you're doing cheese sticks because cheese is very salty, but there's some salt. A lot of black pepper and some garlic powder. Heavily season your dredging flour because not much of it's gonna stay on your item. But anyway, I don't recommend you reuse your dredging flour if you're doing like fried chicken or fish or something that is perishable. But like cheese, this doesn't leave any of itself behind after I dip it in the flour, so it's okay that I'm using this flour that I used a month ago. Anyway, I'm going to do the mozzarella sticks first. So if you've deep fried before, you already know this. If you haven't, then you're going to learn. For deep frying, you dredge it first in flour, and that is what is going to help the egg stick. And it's a good idea to have one clean hand and one dirty hand while you're doing frying stuff like this, but my one clean hand is holding a camera, so I can't quite do that. You're going to see me get the breading claw hand. But anyway, you put it into the panko and you toss it around in the panko, and then that gets it nice and breaded. And ordinarily we'd stop here if this were chicken or fish and we'd fry it, but because this needs to really protect the cheese, we need to double bread this. So after I've coated all of these cheese sticks in panko, I'm going to freeze them and then bread them all over again. Cheese stick number 2. So this is definitely probably the least healthy thing that I've made on this channel. I can't really think of anything like less healthy than deep fried cheese sticks. I mean, deep fried mozzarella sticks, mozzarella cheese is at least like not as fatty as a lot of cheeses. It is a little more nutritious. So I guess I can think of something less nutritious than deep fried mozzarella sticks. Deep fried cheddar sticks in Fritos. That's probably the least healthy thing that I've ever made on this channel. And see, I'm already getting messy hand because I have to keep my clean hand clean for camera holding. And there's stick number 2. I'm going to do that with the rest of them and come back for the cheddar cheese. Okay, definitely would not have been able to do this a couple weeks ago, but I'm keeping the entire upper half of my freezer is devoted to these cheese sticks. So these are all the mozzarella sticks, keeping them in the freezer so that they can get really, really chilled. That's very important. Chill them thoroughly before their second coating, chill them thoroughly before they're fried, and then you will be much less likely to have cheese oozing out. See, like my bottom shelf is still pretty full of stuff, but my top shelf is like completely empty now because I ate all the food. So for our breading, for our cheddar cheese sticks, trying to do a Fritos bread. So I'm going to try it. I'm just going to try to mash them a little bit in the food processor, not to a powder necessarily, but pretty fine. Basically want it to be like the texture of sort of like Italian breadcrumbs. Yeah, I think that'll do. All the oil is making it sort of like sandy. In hindsight, I don't think I'm gonna do all of these. I think I'm just gonna kind of do some until I sort of start running out of Fritos or until I get tired, whichever comes first. We don't need that many cheese sticks. Anyway, let's do this. As I mentioned earlier, I have never done this before. This was Joshua's idea. I am merely executing it. And into our lovely Frito breadcrumb. Oh, that's right, I'm going to need to reserve even more for the extra coat at the outside. So weird. Well, there's one. Join your brothers and sisters. Alright, well here are my little Frito cheddar sticks, and these two are some experiments. These are cheddar breaded in panko instead of Fritos, just in case like the Frito doesn't work. I'm just trying a couple with panko for insurance. I just gave everything a rough chop and squeezed half a lime in there. We'll see if that does the trick. And our dipping sauce is done. Alright, these cheese sticks are quite solid and frozen. They've been freezing for a little over a half hour. Time for their second coat. So this is what's really gonna seal and protect the cheese. And the egg needs to really get into the crags of the breadcrumbs. And really, like, do not skimp. They're going to wind up a lot thicker than they were when you started. And if you use Italian-style breadcrumbs instead of panko, they will not get as thick. I just really like the cragginess and the crispness of panko. Back on the ice-cold cookie sheet and on to the next ones. And you just do this with all of them and then put them back in the freezer for another at least 15 minutes, preferably half hour. And then we shall partake of their crispy, super high calorie, unhealthy goodness. Okay, the cheese sticks have had their second coat of breading, and they are in the freezer again, and they've been there for 15 minutes. Now I'm heating up the oil. I've used this oil for deep frying for a few times. In fact, I fried cheese sticks in it about a month ago. That was the first thing I fried in it. You can reuse your oil, as long as it doesn't get too, like, gritty or dirty and gross. Anyway, it's just starting to heat up right now. If you don't have one of these thermopans, don't worry, you don't necessarily need it. It's really handy to have, but it's very expensive. I like it though, I think it's worth it. Anyway, as you can see, the oil is like about 250 degrees right now. That's way too cold. If you've deep fried before, if you fried like chicken or something, you know that the oil should be like 325, 350. But for cheese sticks, you want it to be really hot. I'd say like at least 400 degrees. Because you want these cheese sticks to only take like 1 to 2 minutes to brown, and that's it. Otherwise the cheese is all going to melt and fall out of the sticks. And then I also have my station set up with paper towels on the bottom and a nice wire rack. You don't want to put them directly onto the paper towels because then they'll get soggy where they were sitting. If you put them on the wire rack, they'll stay nice and crisp. Okay, so that oil is pretty much up to 400, there it goes, 400 degrees. It keeps climbing higher and higher. You want the heat on like medium-high because the minute I put those frozen cheese sticks in, the oil temperature is going to lower significantly. Out of the freezer. Woo, okay, let's go. And it's beautiful and smells wonderful. So as I said, these should start browning. Look at how quickly they're already browning. That's a pretty good sign. So yeah, this should really only fry for like a minute or two. It might sound like barely any time at all, but I mean, remember the cheese, you don't really need to cook it. You just want to melt it. And the coating, there's a little raw egg in that, but I mean, that cooks very quickly. The breadcrumbs are basically already cooked. They just need to get brown. Yeah, baby. No splittage from these guys. In fact, 400 degrees might even be a little bit warm. Honestly, like, I usually don't take the temperature of my oil. I'm so used to not having a thermometer. Like, now that I have one, like, I can use a thermometer now. So I have to, like, relearn some of my older recipes. Like, this is how much it should be. So this is a pretty nice color. I'm actually worried by how intact these are. Usually there's, like, a little bit of cheese escaping. Let's hope the cheese melted. Okay, more. Let's try some of these Frito sticks. Woo, I'm nervous. I will just do 4 initially, because I'm nervous. Whoa, they're getting lighter. That's so weird. They were all like a dark orange before, and now that they're frying, like the Fritos are technically already deep fried, and now I'm deep frying them again. Now they're sort of turning this weird, yucky tan color, but now they're getting brown again. Oh, this is so weird. So all the bubbles and the sound you're hearing is water escaping these cheese sticks. Some of that, you know, could just be the egg. That's watery. But the cheese itself is also watery. So, like, if too much starts happening, then we'll kind of know we have a cheese leak. But it doesn't look like we have any cheese leaks. This is so neat. I can't believe it's actually working. I honestly had my doubts. Still no signs of leakage, so I'm going to give it another few seconds to let them brown a bit more. You can't tell because I'm holding a camera first person, but I am standing a good foot or 2 away from this very hot boiling oil. So neat. I wonder if the Fritos just aren't going to brown as much. Oop, I saw a surge of moisture there. We might have some cheese thinking about escaping. This looks like a nice golden color. Oh, I will start taking them out. Oh, yep, some of the cheese was starting to bubble out. Ooh, better rescue the other 2. That's a good sign, though. I was just worried the cheese wasn't melting at all. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of them now. I will start the mozzarellas because they're a little bigger. And then my Frito cheddars and my panko cheddars. Woo! Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Oh, you're so pretty. I can't wait to eat you. The panko crusted ones really get brown faster than the Frito crusted ones. That makes sense. Like, corn just doesn't really brown as much as, like, wheat does. I don't actually know which panko ones are cheddar and which ones are mozzarella at this point. It's going to be a surprise. Actually, I think I know. The mozzarella ones are slightly fatter. Yep, and these are the 2 remaining Frito ones. They're just a little blonde. All of the Frito ones are just a little blonde. Worried that was going to fall on my foot. And behold their crackly, unhealthy goodness. Oh, button! You get to see the dirty plate that I had the Fritos in earlier. Classic junk food. Okay, let's see what's going on with these cheddar ones. Ooh, not a cheese pull because cheddar is so fatty and creamy. Okay, let's try it. Oh, wow! The Frito part is great. It tastes like more corny somehow and like less. Okay, I'm gonna dip it in the chutney now. Ah, a bit of it fell off into the chutney. Oh, so much better with the chutney. Wow. Well, verdict is it was success, so definitely try this at home. Check out the video description for the recipe, and bye! Hey, just wanted to do a quick little note. I noticed as I was editing this video that I have reached 2,000 subscribers on this channel. Yay! So thank you to everyone who has joined me on this little food thing. So thanks for watching me have fun in the kitchen and cook and eat food. And I hope you all are staying safe and making the most out of this time.